Brian Schottenheimer has once again made it clear, changes are coming for the Dallas Cowboys. After yet another tough loss, the message out of Dallas is simple: things can't stay the same. Schottenheimer didn't hold back when asked about what's next. He said the Cowboys are looking to adjust their scheme, tweak personnel, and give certain players more opportunities on the field. According to him, the team has already had several meetings to address what's gone wrong, and he promised, there will be change. I can show you that. But before we dive deeper into what those changes might look like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update on all things Cowboys. Now, back to it. Schottenheimer mentioned that the team is treating this stretch like a one-game season, focusing first on Arizona before the bye week. He hinted that bigger structural changes will likely happen after the bye, when the coaching staff can fully evaluate the first 9 games. That's when they'll look back and ask, did we fix our problems? If not, what needs to happen next? Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the wait until after the bye mindset. I get it, it's hard to overhaul a playbook during a standard week of practice, but if this team really wants to get back on track, some adjustments can't wait. The good news? Reinforcements are coming. Players like DeMarvion Overshown, Savion Red, and Perrion Winfrey are expected to return soon. Their presence could unlock some new energy on both sides of the ball. Still, the Cowboys can't rely solely on returning players. Immediate, personnel-based changes are needed, on offense and defense. And one of the biggest shifts should come in coverage strategy. It's time to run more man coverage. Against the Denver Broncos, the Cowboys started to mix it in more, though only 4 times through the first 3 quarters. That has to change if they want to get this defense firing again. So here's the question, Cowboys fans, what's your confidence level in this coaching staff right now? Drop your number in the comments, 1 if you've lost faith, 10 if you still believe this team can turn it around. The Cowboys' defensive struggles don't just show up on the scoreboard, they show up in the film room too. When you look at the numbers, it's clear that this defense has relied far too heavily on zone coverage, nearly 82% of the time, to be exact. Man coverage? Barely 18%. And here's the kicker, opponents are completing under 60% of their passes when the Cowboys play man. But in zone? That number jumps to nearly 66%. The stats don't lie, Dallas is simply performing better when they trust their corners to line up and battle one-on-one. Yes, some of the touchdowns they've given up have come in the red zone, where man coverage can be tricky, but overall, the efficiency and pressure rate in man situations are stronger. The problem isn't the players, it's the design. Defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus has been far too predictable. The Cowboys haven't called a single rep of too-high man coverage all season. It's been cover 1 or cover 0 every time. That means whenever they show a too-high safety look and don't rotate down, opposing quarterbacks instantly know, it's not man coverage. That's a massive giveaway. Now look, not every team runs too-high man concepts, but the best defenses at least disguise what they're doing. That's what makes Dallas' approach frustrating. If Eberflus keeps being stubborn about his coverage scheme, then he's failing one of the most basic coaching tests, adapting the playbook to the talent you have. Every coach preaches it, but few actually do it. Now let's talk about a change that might actually make a difference, more snaps for Jadeveon Clowney. Brian Schottenheimer recently confirmed that Clowney's role is about to grow. The rust is off, and he's ready to be a real force in the Cowboys' pass rush rotation. And honestly, that's exactly what this defense needs. A healthy, aggressive Clowney up front can open things up for Micah Parsons and the rest of that defensive line. The Cowboys need more power, more pressure, and more heart on defense, and Clowney might be the spark that reignites it. The Cowboys' defensive line has been underwhelming this season, plain and simple. When you look at the snap counts, the rotation has hovered around 25 snaps per game for most of the frontline players. That's not necessarily bad, but it's telling. One player who has started to stand out lately is Jadeveon Clowney. His production hasn't exploded yet, but the pressure rate and win percentage have quietly improved each week. Right now, you could argue Clowney is one of the top 3 edge defenders on this team, maybe even top 2 based on consistency alone. There's a clear gap between the defensive ends who are performing and those who aren't. Clowney belongs in that first group. So let's talk about it. Do you think he should get more snaps moving forward? Drop your thoughts below, Y for yes, N for no. I'm curious to see where Cowboys Nation stands. Now, the other side of that conversation involves players like Dante Fowler, James Houston, Marshawn Kneyland, and Sam Williams. Fowler brings decent pass rush ability, but the coaching staff doesn't fully trust him or Houston as run defenders. Meanwhile, Kneyland and Williams were supposed to be the guys to step up against the run, and they haven't. Williams, in particular, has become a liability more often than not. His snap count dropped last week, and honestly, it wouldn't be surprising if that trend continues. Kneyland's been banged up, but this is the NFL, you've got to find ways to stay effective even when you're not at 100%. If Dallas wants more stability up front, they may need to shift snaps away from underperforming players like Williams and Kneyland, and give more opportunities to those actually producing results. Now let's move to the linebacker group, where things are just as concerning. This isn't only about Maurey Lefa, it's about the entire unit. Lefa showed flashes of promise last season, enough to make fans believe he could become a top 2 option at the position once DeMarvion Overshown returned from injury. But this year? He's regressed. That raises a tough question: is it a player issue or a coaching issue? Still, even with the inconsistency, I'd rather see Lefa on the field than Kenneth Murray. Murray's physical gifts are there, but his instincts are too slow. He hesitates, doesn't shed blocks well, and struggles in coverage. Sure, he can blitz effectively, but under a coaching staff that rarely sends linebackers on blitzes, that strength is almost wasted. If the Cowboys are serious about building for the future, giving Shamar James more opportunities might be the smarter play. He's young, raw, and still learning, but at least his development could pay off long-term. At this point, if you're going to struggle, at least struggle with your young guys. There's no reason to keep giving snaps to veterans who aren't producing. Let the younger players make mistakes, learn, and grow. That's why I'd rather roll with Maurey Lefa than Kenneth Murray. If Lefa's the future, give him a real chance. He's capable of handling the green dot responsibilities, the communication role, and that should not be an excuse to keep a struggling veteran on the field. So, let's settle this once and for all: who should start at linebacker? Type KM for Kenneth Murray or ML for Maurey Lefa *** in the comments below. Now, before we wrap this section up, let's talk about something that goes beyond personnel: aggressiveness. Brian Schottenheimer has built his reputation as an old-school coach, the kind who plays it safe on 4th downs, trusts the defense, and takes the points. But in today's NFL, that mindset doesn't win games anymore. According to analytics from Ben Baldwin's data, when teams go for it in the right situations, with at least a 1% increase in win probability, it makes a meaningful difference. Yet the Cowboys only go for it 25% of the time when they should. That's bottom 5 in the league. Even when the odds are clearly in their favor, say, 4th and manageable, down 2 scores in the 3rd quarter, they're still punting. That's the kind of conservative decision-making that kills momentum. Look at the coaches who are getting it right: Dan Campbell, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, even Nick Sirianni. Love him or hate him, he plays to win. They trust their offenses to make plays. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are sitting back, kicking field goals, and expecting a shaky defense to bail them out. That can't continue. Not with how this defense is performing right now. If this team wants to survive, they have to get bold. No more hiding behind conservative calls. No more playing scared. Field goals and punts don't win championships, guts do.